Are you coming to Germany in the upcoming semester as an exchange or international student, or you just came to Germany but you don't know what to do? Well then, you came to the right place, because what we're going to talk about today is what we should do in our first week in Germany as a student. So everything is going to be time-stamped in the description and in the pinned comment section below, so feel free to skip around the video if you feel like it to save your time. So I structured this video in order of importance, purely my opinion, to get you in the fastest track to get a residence permit. So let's get started. So the very first thing you need to do when you come to Germany is to make an appointment with the Foreign Office, which is called Ausländerbehörde in German. So if you're like me who are trying to get a residence permit in Germany instead of in your home country, make sure to send an email to your Foreign Office. By the way, I could just come to Germany without a visa, but with Schengen, so I just decided to make a visa here instead of going through the process twice in Korea and in Germany. So emailing your foreigner's office should be done as soon as possible, because the earliest possible meeting you can have with the foreigner's office is like 3 weeks after they receive your email. Remember, not 3 weeks after you send an email, but 3 weeks after they receive an email. So it could be 4 weeks after you come to Germany or 5 weeks after you come to Germany. So this is a very slow process. I know it can be very frustrating, but you should nail this first and then do other tasks afterwards. The second thing you need to do in your first week in Germany is to register yourself in Germany, which is called Anmeldung. So we basically have to go to the city hall and get an official document for your address in Germany. Registration can be very important because the document can be your alternative to your visa before you get a visa. As you already know, making an appointment in advance is a huge thing in Germany, so you might be tempted to make an appointment online and then go to the city hall. But I would recommend going to the city hall directly, like first thing in the morning, like 7:45 before it opens at 8 o'clock, and wait for your number. You're gonna get a response several days later after you send an email for an appointment, and an actual appointment date can be further away. In my opinion, it is not the quickest way to get an Anmeldung in Germany. And B, it is much quicker for you to wait for your number at the spot. Because if you go there first thing in the morning, there won't be a lot of people, and once your number is called, then as long as you brought everything such as passport and a contract with your landlord, everything else is smooth. You'll get the Anmeldung immediately. And C, you need this document as soon as possible, especially for your residence permit and to make a bank account. Another thing to keep in mind is that we have to make this document every time we move into a new place. For example, I made this twice because I'm living in a second flat. So this also means that I'll have to make another run to the city hall to make a document because I'm moving into a student dorm. Hopefully this will be my last time. And third, making a bank account. So this is another document that is absolutely necessary to get a residence permit in Germany, because we need a proof of financial resources to make a visa in Germany. So we have to have a certain amount of money to make a visa for however long you want, 6 months, a year, 2 years, in German bank account. Starting 2020, it went up to 10,236 euros. So the link is in the description section below for further information. So this means that if you're staying in Germany for a year, you need this exact amount in your bank account, at least this amount. If you're living in Germany half a year, you need half of this amount. If you want to make 2 years visa, you're gonna need twice as this amount. So I'm planning on living here for 2 years because my master program lasts 2 years, but I got a residence permit for a year, and then I'm planning on extending it by making another financial proof. But you don't need to present a financial proof if you're getting a scholarship, for example from DAAD or something like that. In that case, you can just present your scholarship certificate from DAAD. And another reason why it's good to have a bank account as soon as possible is because we probably have to send a few checks in Germany. If you're using a non-German bank account, service fee will be charged, and over time, it'll add up to a pretty large amount. So there are several banks in Germany that are student-friendly, and especially international student-friendly, meaning that they speak English, their websites are in English. So these include Deutsche Bank, N26, and Sparkasse, Commerzbank, stuff like that. But the banks that I looked into specifically are N26, Sparkasse, and Deutsche Bank, because they seem to be the most famous one that I got when I got here. So to tell you briefly about these banks, Deutsche Bank is, I think, the most international, meaning that they have branches in many different countries, including other EU countries. I think even in Korea there is a branch, whereas Sparkasse Bank, it's hard to find a branch outside of Germany. So both have a maintenance fee where you have to pay certain amount of money just to keep your account. So at the time I was making my bank account, the Deutsche Bank was charging me €7 for the maintenance fee per month, and Sparkasse was charging me €4. So this is one of the main reasons why I chose Sparkasse, because it's cheaper, because €3 can add up to a large amount of money in 2 years. But this maintenance fee seems to be varying like from region to region, from branches to branches, which is kind of frustrating. Before I opened my bank account, I read tons of blog posts, and those were pretty recent blog posts. So I walked into the bank thinking that I'm perfectly prepared and I know what's going on. I know like how much I'll have to pay. I know like what to do to make this bank account. But it turns out that I need like extra documents such as next identification number, and they even asked me to show them our residence permit, which is quite weird because the whole point of making this bank account is to get a residence permit, but they wanted my residence permit first. So I kind of flipped out making this bank account. So I kind of had to explain her how it works, like the fact that I can't get a residence permit without getting this bank account. Anyway, even though it was quite a process to open a bank account, I'm quite satisfied with like all the services, customer service and online banking and general usage, that kind of stuff. And it took kind of forever to set up an online banking. So what I'm trying to say here is that you should try to get this done early, like even before your class starts, because it can be pretty frustrating if this overlaps with your classes. Oh, by the way, I didn't get a blocked account, although I thought I had to, but it turns out it is not necessary, at least in some cities, including mine. So my Visa lady was okay as long as I have right amount of money. And then the blocked account didn't really make sense, although it was gonna, force me to use like less money. But I think I'm doing quite a good job with that. So back to the banks, although the Deutsche Bank is quite solid, I would recommend Sparkasse because they're still student friendly, they speak English very well, and then I'm very satisfied with the customer service and the usage. If you want, you can still make a blocked account with Sparkasse. So after reviewing all the processes, like how many documents that I need, actually the N26 was my first choice because you need just like 30 minutes of phone call to open a bank account in Germany. You can still make a financial proof to make a visa with N26, I think. But I read the review, but their reviews were quite disappointing and deal breaker because they were pretty known to have a bad customer service, or they're not at least accessible. And quite a lot of people were experiencing their account being shut down for no reason. This is not a safe place to store such a large amount of money. And then next, student ID card. So it's good to make a student ID card on your first day or first week in Germany because that gives you free access to like regional buses and regional trains if you have to like travel around within the city or outside of the city. It's really good. And also you'll be able to get access to the library. And also it gives you a discount in Mensa, which is a student cafeteria. So this is another very important thing. You absolutely need a bike in Germany, even though the buses could be free with your student ID card, because sometimes waiting for the buses could eat up your time, by a large amount. And the bike roads in Germany are pretty amazing. So it feels really great to bike around. Everybody rides a bike in Germany, so I really love it. I would say the best resource to get a bike in Germany is eBay because everybody's like selling bike, but just watch out and be attentive with those people who are selling stolen bikes, because people steal other people's bike and just sell them on eBay and the buyers have no idea. And the university bulletin board situated in like a student union or something, that could be a useful resource too, because people like to post stuff such as like room availability and bike on sale, that kind of stuff. So definitely go check those things out. And also your community could be helpful, whether it's online or offline. International group chat or international group page on Facebook, it could be very helpful because people like to post like loads of stuff, room availability and selling a bike and events, stuff like that. So definitely go check that out. If you're an exchange student who is staying in Germany for a short term, for example like 4 months or 5 months, stuff like that, you can rent a bike at a bike renting center, stuff like that. I think it charges you 10 something euro per month. You don't really have to worry about like maintenance, that kind of stuff. So I would recommend that if you're staying in Germany for a short period of time, even though it's a little bit expensive. Yeah, because getting a bike and selling a bike is kind of a lot of work. And lastly, join a community in your city or in your university. And ESN group is something you should join as well because they like to host an event, they like to host a trip like Berlin and like Austria, Switzerland, that kind of stuff. It's really fun to go. And once you join the community, you can get all sorts of information from the website. And you can also make this like ESN card where you can use with like Ryanair and Flixbus. You can get a discount with that. So it can be a really good leverage in your life in Germany. As I pointed out in my previous videos, these are the reasons why it's good to come to Germany early, maybe a week before your class starts, so that this administrative and bureaucratic stuffs don't overlap with your study schedules, which are more important. So these are basically all I want to share in this video, so let me know if you have any questions about this. So feel free to jump into the comment section right now. Hopefully you got some values out of this video. If you did, please hit the like button to support this channel and consider subscribing to my channel. Have a productive day and stay healthy. Bye bye.